On November 20th, Canada's Auditor General released a scathing report on the government's failed plans for the Royal Canadian Air Force. In it, the Auditor General lambasted the government's failure to provide an adequate plan to equip and staff the Royal Canadian Air Force properly. In blunt language, the report says that national defence cannot do what the government is asking it to do, and that there is no actual plan to upgrade the combat capabilities of Canada's already aging jets that are expected to fly for well over another decade. Put that together with an ever-worsening pilot shortage, and the situation can only get worse. How did this situation get so bad? Canada's process to replace its CF-18 fighter jets stands as one of the strangest in the country's history. It has witnessed 4 major decisions on the purchase of new fighter jets in 2010, in 2014, 2016 for Super Hornets, and 2017 for surplus Australian jets. The first 3 decisions were all cancelled, and the 4th hangs by a thread. Even with the Auditor General's critical report, the current process to replace permanently the CF-18 fleet with 88 new aircraft has avoided serious scrutiny. The entire process is fundamentally flawed and likely to produce a poor outcome for Canada. The central flaw in the Liberal government's policy is that it has sought to oversee a fair competition where none is possible. Of the airframes considered, the F-35 offers the highest capability by a significant margin, with the lowest lifetime cost, and with easy availability, the F-35s would meet and exceed Canadian requirements. Many other nations have come to these conclusions. Internationally, the F-35 has not lost a single competition. In many cases, governments simply sole-sourced the plane in order to avoid the potential expense of a competition with a foregone conclusion. In Canada's case, the government has not sought to select the right option, but rather to find a way to honour 2 contradictory campaign promises. 1, to hold an open and transparent competition, but 2, not to buy the plane preferred by the Conservatives, the F-35, using the facade of a competition process. But this procurement failure, brought on by politicization, is not all that was exposed in the Auditor General's report. Not only are our pilots poorly equipped, but the Auditor General's report also shows that the RCAF is dangerously understaffed as well. According to MLI's senior fellow, Richard Shamuka, and I quote, over 63% of operational squadrons are under strength, with the RCAF pilot capability about 16% below strength, and the fighter force at least 20% short. This helps explain why RCAF pilots are facing the prospect of operating 40-year-old fighter jets against cutting-edge adversaries, a fact that is sure to lead more pilots to leave the Air Force. And buying used Australian fighters will do nothing to address pilots' concerns surrounding the aging fighter fleet and functional obsolescence. These issues are more than a political problem. They stand as a direct threat to our national security. Perhaps most dangerously, the government's bungling of this file threatens the interoperability of our fighter fleet with those of our allies. After all, how is Canada to stand alongside our allies with technologically obsolete and aging airframes and too few pilots to meet our responsibilities? Planners in the United States must now begin to weigh the value of Canada's current and future air fleet when considering future operations. They may well judge that Canada no longer has the capacity to make a serious contribution. This is as dangerous as it is embarrassing for Canada. What's worse, In the face of the impending obsolescence of Canada's fighter fleet and a grave pilot shortage, the Auditor General's report confirms that the government's strategy is wholly inadequate to deal with these looming catastrophes. Given the problems of a politicized procurement process, aging airframes, pilot retention, interoperability, and operational relevance, the RCAF has been put in an impossible situation. And the only way to fix it is finally to get the petty politics out of military procurement, putting first the safety of our military personnel, the security of Canada, and our effectiveness as an ally in the Western Alliance. There are arguments on both sides about whether an expensive competition is necessary, given the superiority of the F-35. But whatever the process chosen, it should proceed immediately, and if the F-35 is chosen, the government should swallow its embarrassment and get on with the purchase. We could be flying new planes in as little as 5 years. Politics is no reason to compromise on the fundamental interests of Canada and the safety of those who risk all to protect us every day. Canada must do better. We owe it to our pilots, our allies, and to ourselves. I'm Brian Lee Crowley for the Macdonald-Laurier Institute.